Michael, last week we were at the Day of Resistance rally.
Yep.
Our third president, Thomas Jefferson, put it like this: I consider trial by jury as the only anchor yet imagined by man, by which a government can be held to the principles of its constitution.
Mm-hmm.
John Adams, our second president, had this to say about the juror. It is not only his right, but his duty to find a verdict according to his own best understanding, judgment, and conscience, though in direct opposition to the direction of the court.
Wow.
So why are we bringing this up? You know, we just we went to this this rally last week, and I got an email once again from my friend Julian Heichland, who is a former chemistry professor at Penn State. He's well into his 80s, and
now living in Israel, correct?
He's moved to Israel, and there's a reason for that. Yes. I want to just take a quote that I found on Facebook concerning what we're going to call Belvin Perry's. He's a judge down in Florida. Belvin Perry's National Juror Rights Celebration Day, which we're going to be doing here in Scranton and hopefully around the country Tuesday, March 12th. And folks, if you feel sometimes as though that your voice is not being heard or we're not making an impact, here's something that you can really have an impact. And this was from an individual, Jeffrey Gray, who's on one of the Facebook pages. He says, this is one of the directions I want to take my activism. Jury nullification is indeed our last peaceful hope at stopping tyranny. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about jury nullification quite a bit, folks, and we're going to be on March 12th. We're going to be at the Scranton courthouse steps, and we're going to be putting out the pamphlets about jury nullification and what it's all about. We have mentioned on the show before, Michael, that New Hampshire has stepped up, and they have now allowed prosecutors to at least inform jurors of their rights, of our rights. Okay? And what has happened is attached is the current status of the contempt trials in Orlando, Florida for Mark Schmeckner and myself, meaning Julian Heichland. He says, read it and weep for your country, or rejoice if you agree with Florida justice. Folks, here's this 85-year-old guy. Or approximately 85. Sorry, Julian. It's not 85.
Anyways.
He's in his 80s. Yeah. There you go. And he's been out there doing this stuff. Mike, we have the videos where he's been beaten, pushed down, thrown in Rikers for 3 weeks at a time. I mean, it's really pretty sad. It is very, very sad. And what has happened is that several of himself and stuff was distributing FEJA, which is the Fully Informed Jury Association, pamphlets on the sidewalk connecting to the parking lot in Orange County Courthouse in Orlando, Florida. And this Chief Judge Belvin Perry objected. Once again, the arrogance of some of these judges, and we've talked about this, and folks, tying this back into the Resistance Day, what can you do? How far will people go? I hear it all the time. Oh, I'm going to stay. I'm going to take my country back. I'm going to, take a... most people are afraid to even open their mouths. If what would happen if you're going to be standing on the courthouse steps with us in Scranton and somebody tells you, get out of there? You're going to stay? You're going to hang out there? You're going to get arrested? Are you going to be like this 85 or 80-year-old Julian Heichland that says, you know what? This is our steps. This is our courthouse.
Absolutely.
You don't have a right to throw us out here. We have freedom of speech. So what this rat did, this rat judge, what he did was he not only had these guys arrested, he then went ahead and made 2 new orders. Anyone who is observed continuing to engage in such conduct as contemplated by this order, and it goes on, may face civil contempt court proceedings. If found to be in contempt of the court, penalties include confinement, fine, or both. It is prohibited for any person or group to engage in any type of First Amendment activities within the main Orange County Courthouse complex. And the guy goes on, and he established 2 free zones. Like he's the guy that's supposed to say, here's your little corner, Michael, that you could sit there and it's actually in some back room where nobody walks by or anything else like that. But
it's degrading.
Who the heck is this guy to come out and say, so this rat, okay, this rat judge down there, and we're gonna try to make sure that he's well known.
Right, and let me explain to folks listening what this man said. Jury nullification essentially says, guys, that here's the law. This person is being accused of breaking this law, but you don't only have the opportunity to judge the law. You have the opportunity to judge the law of whether the law itself is a credible law. So you can say guilty or not guilty or innocent based on the fact that the law is not appropriate. So this is what Julian was trying to tell folks or educate folks that what we're getting out of the courts today is not accurate information.
And Mark Scaringi, remember when Mark came in and he talked to the Tea Party, he talked to the Campaign for Liberty meeting, he was running as a Republican for the U.S. Senate,
yep.
A lawyer, a well-accomplished lawyer, I think down in the Harrisburg area.
Yes.
And he said, look, remember I was shocked he actually brought this up about jury nullification and FEJA and the whole 9 yards, and he said they don't teach it in the courts anymore.
They don't teach it in the law schools anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
in the law schools.
In the law schools. Right. And this is what you're seeing. Of course, everybody knows my position here, but you got a great guy like Scaringi. I bet you if you called up our Senator Casey, he probably never even heard of it.
Forget about Casey. Call the judges up.
The judges. Right.
Michael, I told you, I talked to the judges. There were 8 judges that are running or we had to elect 8 judges in Luzerne County.
How many?
8 of them.
How many knew about it?
One judge even knew what I was talking about, and actually she disagreed with the whole idea. She says, Lou, the jury pool is too dumbed down. It's really amazing. I had one judge, well-known person in Luzerne County. This is interesting stuff.
Never heard of it.
He says, send me some information on this, Lou. And he's sitting on the court. And once again, fine. We talk about people being uninformed. Our judges are uninformed. A lot of these lawyers are uninformed. They tell you what you should be, what you should know and shouldn't know. And the whole point of this, guys, is that they don't know. And unless we stand up and say, wait a minute, you're wrong here. Why don't you see what Jefferson had to say about this? Why don't you see what Adams had to say about this? Would you jail Rosa Parks today? Because, we talked about that. In fact, she did break the law because the law was she wasn't allowed to sit on the front of the bus. And in fact, she sat on the front of the bus.
Therefore,
but,
she was guilty.
Guess what? She was guilty. And if you listen to any of the judges up here in Luzerne County or around the country or this Mr. Belvin, would they throw her in jail? Oh, no, because that's not politically correct right now.
Right.
But you know what? Once again, this is about standing up for your rights and learning your rights. So Belvin Perry's National Juror Rights Celebration Day is Tuesday, March 12th. We're going to be trying to get this out, not just up here, but around the country. I am certainly going to be on the steps in Scranton, handing the stuff out. If folks want to know more about it, you can certainly know how to get in touch with us, or please, just look us up as always. Yeah. And I think this is just a way to start informing people what's going on and just informing of their rights.
Of the rights.
And just going back to, we had the Resistance Day the other day. Here is a perfect.
And that was one of our goals, Lou. It was to educate folks. Right. And really, through this education process, you really become empowered.
And repeating what, this Jeffrey Gray said, I thought this really hit it. That's why I wrote it down. This is one of the directions I want to take my activism. Yeah. How many people, Mike, and we see it all the time, that say, you're throwing your hands up in the air. It's like, oh. But here is a perfect. Jury nullification is indeed our last peaceful hope at stopping tyranny.
Well, and what I see, Lou, is as we and I believe that as judges are legislating from the bench, creating laws from the bench, this is the opportunity where there can be a pushback legally from the citizenship to say, no, we're not going to allow that anymore, and take the power out of the hands of the judicial system, because that was not intended. It's not what our founding fathers intended all this power to go to. And so really, folks, it's Tuesday, March 12th in Scranton. And just the fact to become informed of what jury nullification is.
Yeah, stop by.
Yeah.
We're not,
Yeah. And challenge us. I love to be challenged.
And just, just to make sure everything is out there. I was with Julian in Scranton. And nobody's did it. We've been other places, and not me. I mean, I've went down. I know a lot of my friends have been arrested. I mean, it's really sad, some of the stuff that's went on. But Julian happened to be up here, and we did do some jury nullification, handing out flyers up in on the Scranton steps, and there was no problem whatsoever. Right. And that's the way it should be.
Agreed.